Hello, my name is Pej. I'm an interventionist. I work with people who are struggling with addiction, alcoholism, and mental health. I'm also a recovery coach. Once I help the people get into the path of recovery, we do everything that we can to coach them and keep them on the path of recovery. I also do a lot of family coaching and helping their families. So today, let's talk about what's the alternative to sobriety. And so I thought that would be a great topic. What is the alternative to sobriety? What's the alternative for a person that has a drug addiction, alcoholism, and it goes unaddressed or they can't do anything about it? The alternative is jails, institution, near-death experiences, death, definitely death. Homelessness, that's another alternative that can happen, but doesn't mean that they don't continue to keep doing drugs and alcohol. I myself was a homeless man that was doing drugs and alcohol. Yes, it sounds dramatic, but it's the harsh reality of what happens. People that have major drug addiction, major alcoholism, and that consumes them and becomes part of their life, that's the alternative. They're going to run their life into the ground, most likely. There are people that think that they're out there as functional addicts, functional alcoholics, and maybe some of them actually can function in everyday life. Maybe some of them actually do make it to work if they have a job. Some of them can function even in homeless life. There are people that are homeless for a number of years, but are they really living? What is the alternative, right? Like, are they really living? Is this what their life consists of? Is this what they were intended for? Is this what they came into this earth for? I don't think so. I believe that everybody will meet their demise, especially people that have drug addiction and alcoholism. There will come a time when they're going to feel the effects in their life as a result of using or drinking. They're going to lose jobs. They're going to have health effects. They're going to end up in places where they didn't expect to. A lot of times, and I'm speaking from personal experience, people will get evicted. They can't make their rent. Because they can't hold a job, they can't pay the rent. So then what happens? Sometimes they resort to the streets. Some people will literally sleep on the streets. They'll sleep in tents. They'll sleep in homeless encampments. Some people are, so they think, lucky enough to be able to have a car to live out of. And really that becomes a survival mechanism. They're going to keep sleeping out of their car. Sometimes if it's too cold out, they'll turn the heater on. And sometimes if it's too hot on, use the air conditioning. But either way, people are creative. Some people will go unbathed for a long time. Some people will find places to take showers or clean up after themselves and continue to try to keep working. But are they still living? You got to ask yourself that, but are you truly living? Let's be real here. If a person has drug addiction or alcoholism and they're engulfed in that, most likely they're carrying a major amount of trauma. Everybody has a story, and if this stuff goes unaddressed, they're going to just keep on. Their story becomes their identity, which is usually consisting of addiction and alcoholism or, right? So I wanted to just touch on this and see what can people do to get out of that type of lifestyle. If a person is immersed in addiction and they have plenty of different opportunities and eye-opening experiences, many different signs that happen in their life that show them that their life is not working for them, and things like job loss, things like getting written up at work all the time, things like academic probation within the school system, things like, a loved one wanting to leave you, marriages that are failed, children that are crying, children that feel like, what's wrong with my daddy? What's wrong with my mommy? These are things that make a person actually stop and think, is my life working for me? Obviously, when somebody's really, really addicted or just constantly on the grind, wanting to get one more high, they get to a point where the family's not as important to them anymore. Their kids are not as important to them anymore. Their marriage doesn't matter to them anymore. As a matter of fact, a lot of them think that their loved one is a nag, whether it's a complaining wife or a complaining husband. Just leave me alone. Just let me do what I'm doing. And, it's known that when a person's living that type of lifestyle, they probably have things that have happened to them that if they don't work through, they're going to continue to keep on numbing out and using and drinking. So here's the hope. I believe that since I got better, I know that anyone can get better. Since I see other people that were even worse than me get better, I know that anyone is able to get better. We can all get better, but the problem is not enough people actually want to surrender or give up. There's a lot of people that do come in the path of recovery and they test the waters, they go to treatment, they go to detox, but they end up going back out to that lifestyle again because sometimes people don't want to uncover, discover, and discard. They don't want to reveal themselves to others. They don't want to open up. There are certain things that they are carrying with themselves that they probably want to take to the grave. It could be a number of things. It could be anything from physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, all these different things that have happened throughout their lives that they carry with themselves and they think that they can't work through, but anybody can work through it. And I believe in people. And that is why I do the job that I do. My job is to try to help people find themselves within themselves and not within what they've lost about themselves. A lot of times people think that their identity is just an addict, and that's all that they were intended to be, and that's what they're going to keep doing. And that's not exactly what they're supposed to be. We aren't born into this world to just turn into full-blown drug addicts or alcoholics. I believe that there's definitely a reason for us to find our purpose and to break through the chains of addiction or alcoholism so that we could end up having a wholesome life and build families and keep jobs and go to school and have a career path. But the only way a person that has an addiction or alcoholism that is struggling is going to make it through that is if they know their condition, if they overcome their addiction, if they know the magnitude of what their addiction or alcoholism can do to other people around them or even themselves, and then overcome that by doing the hard work that people do in recovery to stay on the path of recovery and have these big, beautiful lives. If you're struggling with addiction or alcoholism, you can always reach out to me. If you have a loved one that is struggling with addiction or alcoholism, you can reach out to me. If we need to come up with some kind of plan to try to help them, we could do that. And I'm always here for you. My name is Pej, 310-596-9356. You can always reach me at that phone number, text, call, whichever one. Would love to hear from you. And if you like this channel, it's Pej Interventions. You can always subscribe. I would love to have you subscribe. Share it with friends, share it with family, share it with people that you know that might have a loved one that's struggling or if they themselves are struggling. And also comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love your input. So like it, subscribe, share everywhere, and comment. Until we meet again.